when we liberate ourselves, we're liberating our entire communities. Hello, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to make this video because I have been through such intense highs and lows in the past few months since COVID started. I have gained 10 pounds since quarantine and COVID started, and I struggled with the peak of my binge eating, and I've also struggled with the peak of my orthorexia. I lost that 10 pounds in 2 weeks, which is not normal or healthy or sustainable, and I gained that 10 pounds back, and I have definitely been resting in those intensities and just sitting with them. And I've been really into this idea of body neutrality. Like, it's really not a big deal. It makes sense as a testament to the healing that I'm doing with my relationship to food and overcoming this form of self-harm, which I do think overeating can be, just like long-term self-isolation, just like overspending. These are all forms of self-harm and kind of feeding into a fear state of mind. But I haven't been working out as much as I used to. I kind of want to re-inspire and restart my fitness journey in a way and really work on getting my body to feel really good and really strong. I feel like it's something that's been missing from my self-love practice. So I wanted to document the next 2 weeks. I'm not going to control my food in any way, and I'm also not going to weigh myself, just kind of see how I feel after 2 weeks of going hard and really committing to being good to my body physically and also psychologically, having kinder thoughts, and maybe reaching out to a therapist. Me picking apart my body has been a lifelong experience, and my body dysmorphia has always been intense. And yeah, honestly, after gaining weight, I realized it really doesn't have to do with the weight at all. And looking back at old photos and videos of myself was just really eye-opening to me and kind of scary to see that I looked great and I felt so down on my looks and so hard on myself. And realizing that I'm still doing that now, it's just like, we really have to look at this. Something that I always like to say is that the way things are is not the way that they will always be, and I know that I don't have to walk around this world or live this life feeling this weight or feeling scared to look in a mirror or feeling just uncomfortable in food settings with other people, you know? And I know that I can feel so much lighter in these areas of my life, and I want to start doing that work. Let's just get into it and see what transpires. This is my before. Even though I'm not expecting too much of a physical change, I thought that I'd put this in here anyway. I definitely have some cellulite on my body. I noticed more on my stomach since gaining weight, and it's perfectly natural because it is there. And yeah, it is day one of this new initiative in my life, and I have spent like an hour this morning trying to find my old therapist's email, and I finally found it. I did amazing work with this therapist like 4.5 years ago, and I stopped seeing her because I thought I was healed. She doesn't specialize in eating disorders, but she does specialize in childhood trauma and domestic abuse, which are things that I think are definitely somehow correlated to my controlling of food and using food as a form of self-harm. So I'm really excited to email her. I really hope she can do FaceTime sessions. I doubt she remembers any of my history or even who I am, because she's probably had so many other clients since then, but I'm really excited because I feel comfortable with her. So I hope that this works out and she gets back to me and hopefully can see me. If not, I'll try and find a different therapist, but this is a really good step in the right direction. I initially started out doing random workouts, so this is the Daisy Keach butt workout, which I'll link down below because it's actually really good, and my booty was sore every single day that I did this, and I loved it. Lunch today is a pretty big falafel salad with falafel and some tomatoes, pepperoncinis, hummus, and balsamic vinaigrette. I never ate greens growing up, and somehow after I went vegan, I just became obsessed with veggies. They made me feel so good. I learned so many different ways to cook them, and I really am in love with salads, even though I never ate them. I never ate like greens growing up at all. It's all about the Tyson chicken nuggets and like chips from Costco and goldfish from Costco. Just everything from Costco that was processed or frozen. I ate that as a child, like tubs of Toll House cookie dough. Never really learned about veggies, you know? I genuinely enjoy and love eating salads now, and that's why I'm eating it, not because I think this is what I think that I should be eating. My body just really wants it. So yeah, I'm going to be listening to The Beauty Myth while I work out. Listening to The Beauty Myth actually made me angry, which fueled my workout, so I guess it worked out really well. I went for a hike this day, which was so fun, except I got caught in the rain and the sunset, so I was surrounded by cockroaches and really big toads, and it was kind of scary, but I ended up eating dinner out here anyway. I had some lentil burgers and butternut squash and kale. Today I decided to start Chloe Ting's 2-week shred. I did that this morning. It felt so good and I had more energy after I worked out, and I love when that happens. So I feel like my body is just remembering what it feels like to work out and really enjoying actually using my muscles and my prana. So feeling good. So full and kind of bloated. I just really don't feel like doing this right now, but I put my horse shirt on because it makes me feel good and safe, and we're gonna get through this. I'm gonna listen to a podcast while I work out. We got some butternut squash, some greens, some sweet potato, cranberry sauce, gravy, quinoa, mac and cheese, and asparagus. I moved while filming this video, and I started working out with my housemates, which made the workouts go by so much quicker. I also learned that calling my sister on the phone and having someone to talk to was really nice during a workout to help it go by faster instead of just staring at the screen and trying to motivate myself the whole time. Also, working out with other women is just really fun because you just get to talking. We did some yoga after, some dancing. We had a heart-to-heart, we cried, and I highly recommend working out with friends. If you can, it really changed the game. And these are some meals that I ate in the past 2 weeks. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen a lot of these, but I definitely went through a tomato soup and grilled cheese phase. This is a grilled cheese made with Ezekiel bread and BioLife vegan cheese, my favorite. But basically, I just baked a tray of tomato, onion, garlic, basil, a bunch of other fresh herbs, and then blended everything together once it was cooked with some coconut milk. And I don't have any measurements for this, but just did it to taste, and it was so good. Using fresh basil is key here. I also went through a bagel making phase. I'll link this recipe down below because it only took 2 ingredients. But for the most part, my favorite go-to meal is just stir-fried veggies, and I will link this pan down below because it makes stir-frying veggies so easy, and I just add a really good sauce and microgreens and fresh herbs, usually over some carb like noodles or rice or quinoa, and that is my favorite go-to meal because it feels so nourishing, and I just get to experiment with sauces. And I went through a pizza phase. Once again, if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen all of these. But I found this cornmeal dough crust, and it was just really good and another easy way to get in tons of vegetables and carbs. And this is what I look like after the 2-week challenge. Not any huge changes, but I definitely think my waist looks a little bit more snatched. The mental difference was huge, and I also stayed the same weight throughout the 2 weeks. I did it. I completed the infamous 2-week shred challenge. Do I feel shredded? I'm not gonna lie, I kind of do. It's kind of like when you do 50 crunches and then you look in the mirror and expect to have a six-pack. I feel like that's what I did. And I looked in the mirror at the end of the 2 weeks and I was like, damn, I do feel really defined. I'm looking for the more positive things in myself rather than the negative things, and it's just this spiral effect of thoughts where I think that I look good, so I want to take care of myself better and eat better and just keep working out, whereas when I feel like I look bad, I just feel like all hope is lost and I just want to punish my body. And I feel like that's kind of some of the highs and lows I've been feeling throughout quarantine. I feel like the way that I treat my body directly affects the way that I view my body. And another thing that I feel like I really gained from consistently working out was having the ability to push past my mental barriers, especially when I really didn't want to work out, and I would have to keep reminding myself of why I was doing this and how good that my body will feel after, and that every single time that I would work out every morning, it felt like I was feeding into my dream reality, you know? I want to feel good in my body. I want to feel shredded and toned, and that's kind of one of the biggest things that motivated me this past 2 weeks, because honestly, I didn't really want to work out a lot of the time. And I have been unpacking a lot on the more psychological side where this body dysmorphia comes from and where this shame around my body comes from. It's like the floodgates open, and I have so many memories of one of my primary caregivers when I was younger looking in the mirror, feeling less worthy, and me just looking at this person with so much love and acceptance and seeing them just as my shining light in my life, you know, not understanding how they could possibly have those kinds of thoughts. And I kind of learned, oh, our bodies can be wrong, our bodies can be not good enough. Like, I remember how early on that conditioning started, and I do want to get into the best shape of my life in a healthy way and get into the best shape of my life mentally. And so I would love to do another video update in a few months and just see where I'm at. Just kind of releasing expectations for the most part and working more on the psychological aspect of things, while also using my body, which is a vessel through which I can elevate my consciousness, but trying to make this body feel like a safe home and get rid of the urge to punish it and to cast negative spells upon it when I look in the mirror, unrooting the very deep, you know, lingering neural pathways and conditioning that says that anybody could possibly be wrong for looking the way that it does. I mean, that's just a wild concept if you really think about it. How can a body be wrong? I was listening to this Brene Brown podcast, which I'll also have linked down below on Spotify, and it was about this book called Your Body is Not an Apology, and we do not have to apologize for the way that we look. Also, reading or listening to The Beauty Myth was extremely empowering and honestly made me angry. And I actually really loved listening to it when I was working out, because I don't know what to do with anger all my life. Anytime I feel angry, I kind of just cry and internalize it and just like mope. But this made me feel so angry about how much the female body has been controlled. It's just so wild, the impact that this conditioning can have on us, especially starting from such a young age. And for me, I also had a lot of conditioning around wanting to be white. Like, I didn't have anyone else in my family who looked like me, because I am the only one who was birthed from my dad, and my siblings all looked Lebanese or Hispanic, and I just felt like I was wrong for existing, also because I wasn't tall, skinny, blonde, white, and blue-eyed. And having representation is so important, and I know that so many people have had this experience, mostly because I downloaded TikTok, and I've seen a lot of other Asian girls make TikToks about this, like when they outgrew their phase of wanting to be white, and a lot of Black women, and breaking through those molds is what is creating the shift, I think, in what we see in the media, seeing more indigenous faces, different features, different body types, and it feels so, so good. And I think that when we liberate ourselves, we're liberating our entire communities, we're liberating everyone around us, and why it is so important to do this healing work and look at the conditioning and to stand in our bodies and love them just as they are, which it's a struggle, but goddamn, it feels so good to walk just in my knowing that I am beautiful just as I am, and that nothing about me really needs to change for that to happen, that nothing about me needs to change for me to be worthy, especially physically. My body is healthy, my body is my ally, my body is cheering me on, and I'm so, so grateful to exist within this skin and these bones for right now. And I definitely feel extremely empowered in carrying myself as such. I could probably talk about this topic for another hour, but those are my general thoughts after these 2 weeks. Extremely empowered. I kind of felt like Cher from Clueless, like working on my mind, my body, how I can give back to the world, and I want to keep doing it, you know, not just working out, not just feeding into what I think I should look like or feeding into trying to lose weight in any way, but really doing the work. Thank you so much for being here with me right now in this moment and remembering how worthy you are, remembering that the moment you step into that worth, that you are changing the world around you. I honor you, I see you, and I am just really grateful that you are receiving me and my energy. I'll see you in a video soon, I hope. Bye!